What's up? I know it's been a few weeks, but I'm back, and today I'm going to break down how I go about sampling using the Ableton Push. And these techniques, they can be applied to any MIDI controller, I believe, but there's a few things specific about the Ableton Push tool that you will see once I get into using the sampler in Ableton that I feel like is really unique to how the Ableton Push is made, that really makes the sampler and the Ableton Push tool a dope combination. The thing about Ableton, if you're new, you probably don't know this, but the basis of sampling in Ableton is based around something called warping. I'm going to explain it the best way that I know how. Ableton has a special engine that allows music creators to bend and stretch the time of a sample to however we feel is best. So I can make a sample move and groove differently according to the timing by stretching parts of the waveform around. So the very first thing I love to do, and if you saw my first sampling tutorial for Ableton, I always like to go to the first little start marker here and make sure that it's lined up right with the first waveform. Might want to hold down Command or hold down the Windows sign to like get it to slide more crisp. And once it's pulled up, and let's see, I can probably get it a little closer. And once it's pulled up, want to right click, and I always do warp from here straight. Let's go ahead and just play the sample with the metronome. It's already almost there, just after doing just one thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and change the warp settings to complex because I'm hearing a lot of like weird wobbly, about to say wobbliness. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of mud in the low end of the sample. So let's go ahead and switch that to complex. And now I'm gonna go ahead and warp up the sample. If you guys are looking at your Ableton right now, and if you have a random sample pulled up, you're probably seeing these white little tick marks up here. These are warp markers right here. So what we do with these markers, we use them we click and hold and we drag the sample to however we feel suits best. While looking at the grid, I can see that right here, the waveform is coming in a little bit too soon. So let's go ahead and just warp it up. It's literally drag and drop. I'm gonna go ahead and warp up this sample. I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and warped up a little bit of the sample here, not the whole thing as you can see, but just a little bit. While you're setting these warp marks, I want you guys to think about two things, because this video is all about setting up this sample to be ready to chop up with your MIDI controller or your Ableton Push 2. So I want you guys to think about two things. Like the first thing is timing. Let's get this sample in time. And also, I want you guys to think about the second thing, which is each place that you set the warp mark is potentially going to be the place that the sample is chopped at. So let me go ahead and just show you guys what I mean by that. I'm going to click on the sample in arrangement view here. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to go ahead and do slice to new MIDI track. Click that. And then this option comes up right here. And if you saw my first sampling tutorial, then you're familiar with this step. So this first option, create one slice per warp marker. I'm gonna go ahead and choose that. But when I click that drop down, I also see these other options. We have transient. We also have bar. We have these note options here, 16th notes, whole notes, half notes, all that. For the sake of the video and just to keep it simple, I'm gonna keep it on warp markers here. But you guys, man, it's up to you as the producer to figure out how you really want to chop up your samples and how you really want to groove. So let's go ahead and just click OK. I'm not gonna worry about slicing preset. I'm gonna come clean. I've never messed with these. Maybe one day I'll mess with them, but not today. Let's go ahead and click OK. Preserve warp timing. I'm gonna keep that on because I have my record warped up to the tempo of 82.86 BPM. So we're all set to go. When you press OK, it's gonna open up another MIDI channel. And as you can see right here, a drum rack is created by Ableton. You can't sample without a device. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're talking about using like your MIDI, you need a device, whether it's sampler or a drum rack, you're gonna need one of those open. There's a piano roll here, and if I play it, you will hear the sample. All right. But now let's go ahead and have some fun. So here, you guys are looking at the Ableton Push 2 right now, and these lit up squares right here correspond to the slice marks of the drum rack. Let me go ahead and record a quick little idea. So now let's go ahead and use the next technique, which is just using simpler. So just like the first technique, you start off with warping, and I still have my little sample over here. It's already warped up, at least the area that I'm using. Disregard all of this over here. The area that I'm using is still warped up. So now with the sampler open down here, and actually it's not open yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and drag the sample down to my MIDI track. So just like how in Simpler, you have the modes of classic sample. If you just hit it. All right, boom. Then when you let go, it stops. And then your next one shot mode. It's a one shot. Then your next mode, slice. It automatically, as soon as you click slice, it automatically the sample, but these slices are not musical at all. They're like too short. I mean, you could probably come up with something, but it's probably not gonna be that fire. So here's what we're gonna do. Our screen right here is resembling the simpler functions. And we have it in slice mode right now. And right now it's slicing it by transients, as we can see right there. Let's go ahead and switch this. We can switch this to slice by beats. We can switch it to slice by region, manual. As soon as you go into manual mode, the first cube right here likes to light up. Once I click this, once I hit this with my finger and hold down, the sample is gonna begin to play. And it's up to me to just continue to hitting the different pads according to where I want my slice marks to be on the sample. So let me show you that. All right, so now we have our slice marks. All right, last but not least, the simplest way to sample in 2020 is to use this plugin called Serato Sample. It's literally the easiest thing ever. When you open up Serato Sample, literally do what the plugin says, man. You can load a file here or drag and drop a file. And right from the jump, as soon as you hit one of your pads on your Ableton Push or a MIDI controller, you're gonna get a slice mark, as you can see. And then from there, just like the last technique that I showed you, that technique was the perfect like segue into this next technique here with Serato Sample. You're gonna literally just hold each pad according to where you want your sample slice marks to be. The most beautiful thing about Serato sample is that it's already in time. Like, no warping is needed for Serato sample or anything like that. It's just ready to go, man. And you can mess with the pitch over here, blah, blah, blah. Sync, of course, or not synced. I want to give a special shout out to one of my subscribers, one of my new subscribers that actually inspired this video. It was actually 2 different subscribers that wanted me to make an Ableton Push 2 tutorial, and one specifically that wanted to know how I would go about sampling in conjunction with the Ableton Push 2. So shout out to the both of y'all. There's going to be more Ableton Push 2 tutorials on the way, more beat making videos on the way. I got drum kits on the way. I got sample kits on the way. So if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button. If you haven't liked the video yet, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button, left a comment. If you have any questions, hit me up. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Everything is at Micah Weston. So feel free to hit me up, man. And in the comments, of course, I'm always in the comments showing love back to you guys. Stay encouraged and keep making music. I'm out.